Coral Island launched into 1.0 on November 14th of 2023, and while it offers a fairly complete and incredibly enjoyable experience as is, we still have a lot of planned content to look forward to, which is all set to release in 2024. Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sarah Sunstone, and today I will be sharing what I'm hoping to see from Stairway Games, the developers of Coral Island, in 2024. The game's 1.0 release arrived much sooner than I was expecting, and while 1.0 does deliver so much content, in many ways we are still just getting started. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. So the first thing I really want to see in 2024, and hopefully in early 2024, would be an updated roadmap. Now that we've arrived at 1.0, every major feature upcoming for the game has been shared on a roadmap, but that roadmap just says everything's coming out in 2024. So it doesn't give us much organization in terms of which content to expect first. Although plans can of course change, it would be really nice to get a general idea of what their plans are, so what we can look forward to next for version 1.1 and which features are probably going to be coming late 2024, if not 2025. I'd like to see a roadmap similar to ones the team has shared with us previously, where it organizes waves of content into different sections and plans out the general order. I'd also really like to get some more details on features specifically, especially the ones that we have never heard of until like this 2024 roadmap. For example, the hangout and dating mechanic was something that has never been spoken of until it just showed up on the 2024 roadmap, so that's something I'd love to learn more about. The same goes for something like ocean farming and ranching, how multiplayer is going to work, are Savannah ranch animals specific to the Savannah biome, can we bring them back to our farm, how is the tourist system going to work? There's so many unanswered questions, and while I would like to discover a large portion of that through actually playing the game, I do still think there's a way for us to be informed on what sort of scope these features are going to have to at least manage expectations. And we'll actually talk a little bit about that in my next point. The second thing I would really like to see from the team is clearer communication. Now, I do have to first preface this by saying that Stairway Games does an excellent job at communicating with players and sharing their constant work through almost daily developer diaries on their Discord server, monthly developer updates. They do keep everyone in the loop. They keep us informed. They don't, disappear for months on end like you see with many other games. The team does do a great job on communication in that sense, so don't get me wrong on that. But there are some things that I find to be still missing from that communication, so I do want to talk about that here. Now, first of all, we're already going to have a little bit less communication from the team in 2024 because they are shifting from doing their monthly developer blog updates to only posting them every 2 months. I think this can be okay as long as the developer blogs are substantial and address the things that we want to see addressed. Personally, I would rather have a more substantial blog post from the team every 2 months instead of, for example, what we got in the last one for December, which I actually didn't even cover, and we'll talk about why I didn't cover that as well here. I really want them to only share if there's stuff worth sharing and not feel like they have to scramble together an update just for the sake of getting out those monthly updates, so this could be a good thing. But I really would love to see a bit of a content shift in how they share information through these blogs. I would really like to see them address hot topics within the community, frequently asked questions about in-game features, and not the frequently asked questions that they predict we're gonna ask and have answers ready for, like actually frequently asked questions. More written text, honestly, that's going a bit deeper into maybe some of the logic or decision making, or just sharing more information about certain features. And although this is not at all required, I just think some of these things could help connect better with the community and their audience, and also help people understand why certain decisions are being made. Again, I know they don't owe this to the community at all. It would just be something extra that they could do. But I think the main point for me with their developer blogs is I'd really like to see them move away from sharing spoilers. I would love to see more information shared in these developer blogs about everyday features and things that we all want to see being improved, as well as teasing some new content without crossing the line of spoiling spoiling it for people. This is actually the main reason why I did not cover the last developer update. In the December developer update, the team shared that every one of the potential romantic partners will have their very own room if you marry them, which is like unique to that character. I think that is such an incredible feature, and I absolutely loved learning about it. And while I think there's nothing wrong with sharing that that's a feature, and that makes it really exciting for people to go ahead and try to, you know, unlock all the rooms in different playthroughs or chat with their friends and see, you know, who's marrying who and share pictures of the rooms if they're open to those spoilers. I just think actually like sharing the spouse rooms is kind of like sharing the ending of a movie. And this also goes for how they shared Lily and Raphael's weddings in the trailer. And I know some of you were okay with it, and maybe some of you even actually considered certain candidates you didn't before because of seeing, you know, the wedding outfits or of seeing the wedding locations. But just to me personally, like I said, it's spoiling the end of the movie for me if I know already what the wedding location, the dress, the tux, the special room is going to look like. Then it's a bit less exciting for me to discover that on my own when I play the game. I think it's just sharing too much and giving away too much of their game instead of just sharing like the feature and having us look forward to it. That's just my personal opinion. So I would like to see more information in the developer updates, but less obvious big spoilers, I guess, if that makes sense. And I am going to be, you know, using my judgment moving forward on how much of those I share, depending on what they share, because I think it's important that you guys get to experience the game for yourself and not have that special moment maybe spoiled for you, right? Now, they did state that fixing any and all remaining bugs remains their top priority, and my next point is that I really hope they hold to this. I really hope that they will focus on polishing, bug fixing, and working on the base game before they start moving on to these more ambitious features. Examples would be repeating dialogue, typos that I've seen since like the first build of early access. I know it's not a big deal, but when there's a lot of typos, it kind of adds up. It kind of breaks the immersion of the conversation a little bit when you have to try and piece together the grammar on your end or like what the word is supposed to say. And then sometimes when words are actually right, but it's something I'm not familiar with, then I'm questioning if it's actually a typo or not, or if it's just something I'm not familiar with. Animals clipping together, something like simple like that, or what I see as simple, it probably isn't from a game development perspective. Otherwise, I imagine our cows would not be still walking through each other. Another example would be pets being able to leave your house at the bare minimum, if not actually being able to do something with you. It's interesting because a lot of the features that I know are really important to the team and are often found to be disappointing in other games have also been left a little to the wayside in Coral Island. It seems like in order to rush the release window. Now, this is all speculation, but I personally think that the November 14th release date was put on them from outside sources, whether that be investors or publishers. I don't think the team would have committed themselves to releasing it at that time, knowing what they still probably wanted to accomplish by 1.0. I just really don't want them to lose sight of those little things. So while all these bigger ambitious game mechanics like island hopping and new biomes and, you know, even more to do with the Merfolk Kingdom and all that is lovely and shiny, I just really hope in 2024 a lot of these really frequently requested to be fixed issues do actually get fixed. I think it would do a lot for player experience. And I think a lot of us would all breathe a sigh of relief because we'd be like, okay, they know that this is happening. They are doing something about it. They don't want our cows to walk through each other. They're just working on it. Now, my next point is sort of building off of that. I also really want them to focus on the little things. And by little things, I mean certain logic or features that have been implemented that don't quite either make sense or that don't quite feel satisfying. Some examples off the top of my head are like wedding outfits. Unlock at rank E instead of when you're ready for actually having a wedding and proposing, which doesn't make sense to me. Maybe that's just me. While the festivals are absolutely lovely, I think the shops and the prize rewards are a little bit underwhelming or even disappointing. I'm not even asking them to create brand new items for these rewards and shops. I don't know how it works from like a development perspective, but I feel like there's a lot of really nice in-game assets that they could use for these potentially. Or I don't know, like when I win a mini game, I really don't want a bronze bar. I really don't want some candied tree seeds. Like some things don't don't make sense. Or like, for instance, when you unlock the mid-forest and there's a treasure chest there and then you get 5 candied tree seeds, but you're already like almost through your first year in game. Like, so some things just don't quite make sense to me and are underwhelming. While the dynamic dialogue is really awesome, there's not always response options that cover different viewpoints. So without giving any spoilers, one event that comes to mind is there's an event with Mark. You're only given like negative options to respond to a situation that he's in. So you can't even be supportive. You basically have to be kind of like, why would you do that? Or like, oh, are you sure you want to do that? Like, there's no way to be like, wow, that's such a great thing that you're doing. So that's like another example of something where it's like, I can't get as immersed as like myself in the game because I would never be like rude in that situation. Again, something as simple as like losing your hair with every single hat. I know modeling hair and hats is not just as easy as putting a hat on the existing hairstyle. I know you have to, from my understanding, you have to make a like completely new hair and hat model, but give like 2 options. Give 2 options. I'd even take like less hats and have, you know, one longer hair option and one with maybe just like some bangs sticking out. But that's something that's kind of disappointing because you unlock like a Santa hat that you want to wear for the holidays and you lose all your hair, which is fine. But these are just these little things, quote unquote, which I know probably are not little things from the team side, but I would love to see efforts put into those things to improve our experience of what we currently have in game. Again, before moving on to the bigger, more ambitious content. I'd also really like to see some sort of decision being made on the design mechanics. Right now, I feel like the team is at a point where they can decide if they want to basically leave it as is, and it is what it is. This is what we have to work with in the game in terms of how we design, or they could choose to make some greater improvements to the mechanics and kind of lean into that design element of the game. I've said this a lot of times before on the channel, but I really feel like when a game has great design mechanics, it can give a lot of longevity to a game's lifespan. And while there is like a ton of content to keep you busy with Coral Island regardless of design, there's like a whole design community of gamers that would just eat that up. But I think the game needs better mechanics in order for that to, you know, manifest. So for example, placing items on angles, a more precise grid system so you can actually center items with other items, or, you know, just place them more precisely, different colorways for existing furniture sets, more craftable furniture and decor, wallpaper and flooring being reusable, not just like a one-time placement. Home layout customization wouldn't be necessary, but it would be nice, and more precise exterior customization would be really cool, where you can mix and match like the roof style with the siding, the porch. Like, you could do a bit more with the exterior. These are just some of my ideas, and while they might be just leaving this up to mod support in the future, that wouldn't apply to anyone outside of playing on PC. So I'd really like to see a clear direction being taken on this, because they do keep adding, you know, new sets and new exteriors and stuff, so it seems like they're still building on the design aspects. And they did update the interior customization mechanics slightly, like they improved the user interface and slightly improved the grid system a little bit. So it seems like they're still kind of working on it, but yeah, I don't know. I would love to see it just at least go one way or another, so I know where to set my expectations for the future. And my final, probably obvious points for what I would like to see in 2024 is a Nintendo Switch release and ideally multiplayer. But obviously, both of these things come with caveats. I do not want them to rush out multiplayer before the game's core features are really fleshed out to the extent that I'd like to see them. Same goes for the Nintendo Switch release. I don't want them to rush out the port just because people really want it. I want it to be in a as polished as it can be state, given the restrictions of the Switch's hardware. I also don't know if we're going to be getting like a new iteration of the Nintendo Switch anytime soon, so I don't know if potentially they're working on porting to the next Switch-like console. It's all just, you know, speculation at this point, but just for the sake of more people being able to get their hands on Coral Island, I would love to see that Nintendo release coming out in 2024. It's been such a joy to see so many people get to play it now on Xbox and PlayStation consoles. Again, I would love to just see the Coral Island family and community grow even further. So there you have it, friends. Those were just some of the things I'd really like to see from Stairway Games, which are the developers behind Coral Island, in the year 2024. I usually don't focus on the more like negative or picky things in the game, because I feel like at the end of the day, say. They're very minimal compared to everything that is so incredible and amazing about the game. At the same time, I do have a platform and I would like to share some of those things that I would like to see them improve on, because I hear you guys and I feel the same way about a lot of the things too. So be sure to let me know down in the comments what you would most like to see from Coral Island in 2024, and please give the video a like if you're ready for what's in store for us in the new year. And with all that being said, thank you so much for watching. I love you all, and until next time, take care. And a very special thanks to Paul, Meredith, Janelle, Teresa, Ember, Formotus, Tansy, Becca, Anime Lover, Jack, James, Cisco, Phoebe, Dragonfae, Blossom, Sunshine, Elsa, It's Me, Andrea, Eurasia, Nazashka, Salvador, Daniel, Dominique, Cricket, Cheese, Kayla, Wolf, Zaries, Lawrence, Faviola, Kicknell, Alyssa, Flores, Arnica, Grey Ghost, Valley Wolf, Danny, Mel, Kelly, and Carrie. My beautiful gemstone members, I love you all very much, and thank you so much for the extra support on the channel, which really helps to make all that I do possible and means the world to me.